I'ma get in there like I'm supposed to. Yeah. Gotta do it like I'm supposed to. Yeah. Real nigga. I swim in your ocean, girl. I don't need my swim kit. I'm under the water, girl. I can see what's in.
Yo, y'all know what it is. It's the Battle of the Sexes podcast. It's your boy Malik DFG Perry, and I'm here with the lovely
Brittany Jeremy.
You turn the music down, so you know we vibe sometime, man. But when we got special guests, we try to keep the vibe to a minimum, man. But you know, we did our married series, man. It was a huge success. We got 4 couples, 4 married couples. What do we get?
Yeah.
4 married couples to be a part of it. So now we're starting our single series, man. So we got the side from the married individuals, but now we're gonna sit here and figure out what it is about the single. Why are you single? What you doing out here being single? Do you have insidables? And I think with this guest we got coming here, we're gonna learn a few new terms, man. So, you know, we got my real close friend Courtney. I'll tell you a little bit of background on Courtney, man. She was in the military, I think military or Navy, one of the two, man. Did that for a couple years, man. We met about 5 years ago. Real cool, down-to-earth person, very introspective. Some of her beliefs and thoughts, some of you may not agree with out there, but it's pretty cool to get the personality and understand, you know, what she's like and what she's like in a relationship and some of the things she's into. So I'm going to bring on What up, Port?
Hello.
Oh, am I live? Can you hear me? Let me know I'm okay.
You got to turn your camera the other way, though.
My thing is, hold up. Give me a second. Okay. I was hoping that I could leave it sideways because it's charging. But that's okay. Here we are. Is that better?
What up? So I introduced you to the people, Court. I told you, you're one of my real close friends, being part of the podcast. Real cool, down to earth, single, So just tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Miss Courtney.
Ooh, there's so much, but to keep it simple, I'm Courtney, from Gary, Indiana, born and raised, 30, Sagittarius, if that matters. I'm just a real simple, laid back, open-minded individual. I like to just keep it real at all times. That's it.
So I told him, Courtney, you're one of my close friends. We have good times. We vibe. We talk about a lot. You're currently single or in a relationship? Tell us, what are we doing? What is the love like?
I'm single. I'm open to dating. Life hasn't really been that great in the dating world, so I'm keeping my options open right now.
Keeping your options open. Now, during this dating time, are you at all at any point entertaining anyone or let anybody in your space?
Yes, I'm entertaining a couple people. Simply getting to know them or spending time with them. Phone conversations, nothing sexual, but definitely just talking, getting to know, checking out personalities, mentalities. That's it. Keeping it simple.
So me and you talk all the time, and I tell you got hoes, right? And what's your response? And I tell you got hoes. What do you tell me?
I don't like the word hoes. I feel like it's a derogatory term, period, across the board. Like, by definition, everybody's a hoe. So I don't like using the word hoe. I don't like calling people hoes. I don't like referring to people as hoes. It's just unrealistic to call people hoes. Because unless you're a virgin and you've never slept with anyone in your life, you can be considered a hoe. What I prefer to call people are sexually liberated individuals or slides. So that's it. Like, keep it cute.
Say it again. What do you call them?
A slide.
A slide.
A slide.
So
sexually liberated individuals.
What sexually liberated individuals is a slide. So tell us about these slides. What is the purpose of these slides?
What do you mean? What is the purpose? They don't serve a particular, well, for me, they serve a multitude of purposes. But people serve different purposes for different things. Some people speak to other kinks. Some people speak to, you know, the vanilla side of things. Some people just speak to my mentality, and what, you know, sometimes it's just a conversation. That's fun. But, you know, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a place.
So when you say vanilla, what do you mean by vanilla?
Okay. So anything that is within the social norms of sexuality would be considered vanilla. So, you know, your missionaries, your doggy styles, your kissing, you know, heavy petting, normal stuff. The stuff your grandparents used to do.
What is heavy petting?
You know, I don't like it, but you know, some people like fingering, and things of that nature. Hand jobs, heavy petting.
Heavy petting.
What's the alternative of vanilla?
The alternatives to heavy petting.
No, but
well,
the alternative to vanilla
would be everything else. So your fetishes, your BDSM, you know, your kinks.
Your what now? What, the BDSM?
BDSM.
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 Okay, I know. Okay, I got it. Mm-hmm. But can you explain to everyone else that doesn't have that doesn't get it? What is BDSM?
Bondage, sadism, domination, masochism. BDSM.
Okay.
So are you into BDSM?
Absolutely.
As a single woman?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about that. How was that BDSM for you? Because we talked. So you say you got slides. So you got sexual. I won't hold. You have sexually liberated individuals in your life.
Yes.
That play a part or play a position. All right. Are one of those individuals your BDSM, your dom, or what they call them? Is one of those your dom, or did you have a dom past? Like, let us know, because you're single. So we're trying to get a thought into the mindset of, if somebody wanted to talk to Courtney or deal with Courtney, what are some of the things they have to deal with, or some expectations where you say you don't really, they got to meet you know, somewhere mentally and things of that nature, but we want an insight on this, Courtney.
Okay, so if I do entertain a BDSM relationship, we first have to talk about what we're into. That has to be a conversation from jump. We have to know what our kinks are, whether that be, like I said, bondage, whether that be anal, whether that be humiliation, any type of fetish that person has, whether they like to be tied up, gagged, spanked, whether they like to be edged. You know, you talk about all of those things, and then you set limits as to what you are willing to experience and what you don't want to experience. So that could be anything from, you know, a hard limit to something you may be interested in. You want to, if you think they're necessary, in most cases they will be, you set safe words. That is a thing. So you want to set a safe word. Pineapples, coconuts, red, you know, most people use colors and things like that. But I did have a 5-year relationship. That was a dominant submissive relationship. I was the submissive and he was my dominant. So essentially, when we were in the bedroom, he controlled the environment. So, and I was okay with submitting in that way, that I could be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. That doesn't mean that I had to bark like a dog or, you know, anything like that. But it does, you know, I had a collar. I had restraints, butt plugs, you know, ankle bars, toys, various toys, cock rings, anything, everything that you could probably think of, we used. And so yeah, if I do entertain a relationship of that nature, then these are the things that we would talk about and or do. And there is a level of comfort and trust that you have to have with those relationships. So most guys aren't into a lot of things that I care to try and or want to do. They feel uncomfortable. So that's not always the case when I'm dating and or getting to know somebody. When we get to that discussion of sex and what we like, most men are very vanilla in a sense that they haven't tried very many things or are scared to try things for whatever reason. So, I mean, it's not a requirement, but it's great if you're open to it.
You got any questions? Go, Mika?
How long have you been single?
2 years.
Okay. And do you ever see yourself in a, I don't want to use the term normal, but a traditional relationship without?
No.
Okay. So that's a requirement for you to have a slide?
Absolutely.
Well, a slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my man has to be my slide.
Okay. So do you, in your next relationship, like long term, I'm thinking, do you feel like you could be the dom instead of the submissive?
It would take some getting used to. I think it's possible though. Yes.
Okay. And do you see yourself, so you say you entertained a few. So have you ever been in an open relationship?
No.
Are you comfortable with an open relationship?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Why is that? Why are you comfortable with an open relationship?
I mean, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't require you to put all of your attention and or wants and needs onto one individual. As long as there is the understanding and there's the comprehension that everybody involved is the partnership. Nobody's, above the other. We're all in this together. It's teamwork. A basketball team is 5 people. If you have 3 or 4, however many people you invite into your relationship, everybody has to understand they hold a purpose, and at the end of the day, it's not a competition. So I don't feel like I would be in an open relationship and it not be understood across the board that you are special in this way. Everybody holds a position and they're individualized positions, and everybody gets different treatment based on their love languages and things of that nature. So an open relationship would actually be pretty ideal for me, I feel like, but I mean.
So open relationship, would you be the middle person where it's men, or would you prefer one man and then it's like a couple of women? Or do you prefer like open as far as like, well, I guess that's like polygamy. Do you, so open, you're meaning like you have a couple on the side and he has a couple on the side and y'all are each other's main open, or do you believe in polygamy and like living under the same household?
Well, no, I wouldn't go as far as to say polygamy. But I will say open. Like if we're gonna go as far as to say we're gonna get married, some things have to adjust accordingly. Because I still hold some traditional insight or values on marriage. But if we're dating and we decide that, at any point in time, whether it be from the beginning or any point in time during our relationship, that maybe we would like to entertain other parties, I would not mind it being me and 2 men. I also wouldn't mind it being me and a man having a primary relationship, and then we have our outside. He has his woman, or I have my boyfriend on the side, or whatever the case may be. Again, it really wouldn't make a difference, the dynamic of the relationship. It would just simply be a level of understanding that we all have and uphold throughout the relationship.
So you said marriage. So you do want to get married one day?
One day.
Okay. So soon, or just one day? Like whenever it happens, it happens?
I'm not trying to put a time frame on. I've been married before, so I'm not trying to put a time limit or a time frame on when marriage will happen, because that would just put strain on me and my time clock. I'm more so, if it happens, I'm open. Like, I'm open to it. I'm not going to fight it. If this relationship flourishes and it turns into marriage, then I'm going to put my all into that relationship and make my marriage work.
Okay.
You've been going. Go ahead. You've been going. Look.
So, are you religious in any sort? Do you believe in religion?
No, I'm not a firm believer in religion. I'm more spiritual than religious.
Okay.
But I was raised Baptist.
You were raised Baptist?
Mm-hmm.
So when was the turning point to where you felt like, let me turn this into more of a different wave?
I would say when religion couldn't answer, when the Christian Baptist portion of my life couldn't answer all of my questions. When I had questions about things that were being taught, and either I was being shunned for it or told to not ask those questions, or that, you just do as you're told. Then I kind of stepped away at that point. I think that was maybe around 22 or so. I kind of just backed away from the church in general, simply because I wanted to know more. I needed more information. I didn't want to be in a situation where I just had to take the word for it. Like, if I can't ask you or question the things I'm being taught and given a reasonable answer or a reasonable source of information to find my answer, then that's not somewhere I want to be.
Okay, that's understandable. Go ahead.
So as far as dating, like, you like you said, you got these things you can't see yourself being with someone that's not and has the same interests as you. How does those conversations go when somebody's trying to get to know you and you guys finally get to that level when it's like, you know what, I want to have sexual intercourse with this person, but you break down your likes, your wants, your dislikes, and somebody that's not used to that life kind of shuns it. Like, how does that conversation go, and what is the response on their end?
In most cases, it's shock, interest, and then it's a lot of questions. So I'd never have an issue with answering questions if it's really something you want to know. But those conversations, once they happen, it's usually pretty easy to have them, at least for me, simply because I'm extremely comfortable in who I am and how I am sexually. Nothing that I'm doing is illegal or life-threatening, so I don't see it being an issue. But most men are taken back by my transparency. They are also taken back by my openness. Usually those conversations on their end are more so, most women are open to this, or I've never encountered a woman who is comfortable saying this out loud or doing this or being open to wanting to try anything outside of what they're already comfortable with. Or I get very, shy and or conservative responses that are like, oh, that's a bit extreme for me. It's not something that I would be uncomfortable with doing this. It's not something I see myself doing, and that's perfectly okay as well. I'm not here to force an idea on you, nor am I here to try to make you do anything that you're uncomfortable with. What I will say is, I know my partner personally would at least be open to trying something before determining that it's a no-go. Because if I was presented with the same, situation where it's like, oh, babe, I would like to try this. And it's something like, okay, well, let's see what it's about first. Let's do some research and let's figure it out and we can try it. But yeah, there's all different responses to the way I am sexually. And it's either they've tried it or they haven't, they want to try it, or don't even think about it.
So dating you, how's dating you right now? How's the dating life for you at this current moment in time? You said you got 3 slides and they all serve a purpose. They all serve a purpose. You have 3 sexually liberated individuals. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like you said, they solve their purpose. You're open and honest about, I'm dealing with this person, I'm dealing with that person. Are you sexually active with all of them? Like, what are those things that go along those lines?
2 out of the 3, absolutely, I'm sexually active with. One person in particular is just somebody I'm getting to know. I did try to open myself sexually to him, but he was a little overwhelmed, so I had to dial that back. But as far as Sly One does feed me in the BDSM aspect. He's very much the dominant, and I'm very much the submissive. He's very much commanding, and I'm very much giving in that way. And he feeds that side of me. He helps me in that way to release. My second Sly is more so I just want to bang my frustrations out. So he comes through, we do what we need to do, and then he leaves. Like, there's really nothing to it. It's not a lot of conversation. It's not a lot of, beating around the bush. It's straightforward to the point. Thank you. Good night. Have a great day. Here's the bottle of water and out the door. Like, that's it. That's all.
So, and they both know about each other. They all 3 are Slides. Know there's somebody else. They don't think they personally know him, but they know, like, I'm not the only one she's dealing with.
Absolutely. They all know that they serve a purpose, and their purpose is to do what I need them to do and go home. That's it.
So then, therefore, there's no relationship that's trying to be formed with any of the 3?
No. I was the third one I could see myself being with. But he has a lot of maturing to do mentally. So like I said, I kind of dialed back on that. There's no relationship being pursued there, and he knows that. Although he's persistent, is a no for me. 1 and 2, very much from the jump, no for a fact. I talk about the other to them. So it's not like it's a surprise that I'm sleeping with 1 or 2. It's like, yeah, so you're not the only one, but thanks for coming.
So then, therefore, I know this probably is not a overly whatever question, but then you do practice safe sex then?
Absolutely.
Or do you ever? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, you're going. Go ahead.
So, do you have children?
Shy. I have a son.
What'd you say? I'm sorry. Okay, how old is your son?
I have a son. He'll be 1 next month.
Okay, 1 next month. So, is that the relationship from the 5-year relationship, or?
No.
Okay. So, was he a product of a Sly? And anything that you don't want to answer, look, just be like, I ain't.
Oh, no, absolutely. He was definitely, actually, he was the product of a friendship that turned into a Sly. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty. Go ahead.
So, I mean, you were married before. Tell us about that marriage. So, when did you get married? How old were you got married? How was the marriage, and what made it end?
Well, trigger warning. I got married at 22 in 2012. He and I dated. We actually went to high school, well, not the same high school, but we ended up going to the same trade school in high school together. Like, we crossed paths a lot, but we dated for 3 years, got married when I was in the military. It was love. It wasn't for a check or anything like that. I know that sometimes a thought when people say they get married in the military, but we were in love, and we got married young. At that time, my idea of marriage was get married young, build together, have children, live happily ever after. That wasn't necessarily the case for me. Seeing as how, like, it was okay until it wasn't. I kind of call it like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What ended my relationship essentially was abuse. In all forms, mental, verbal, and eventually physical. And I just left it at that. Like, I let it go. I asked for the divorce and I left. I didn't allow the abuse to continue I would say for too long, but I knew better, so I left.
So in that aspect, when it comes, you left. Do you think that changed your mentality in the sense of what you wanted and what you didn't want? So you experienced the marriage life. Like you said, it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You got married young. Did that transition to you to feel like, you know what, I want to be free and I want to be able to, you know, soil my oats, do what I want to do after being tied down? Or what was your thought process after that?
Actually, it was the opposite. I still very much wanted to be very much vanilla and connected to my partner and have my little old man and do our normal routine. Like, it was very much still the same. It wasn't so much as, you know, been here, done that, don't want to do it again or anything like that. I still wanted that bond. I still wanted to pursue marriage at some point, and I still consider marriage to this day. I just have a different idea of how I want to go about it. It definitely helped me kind of break down, you know, going forward, the foundation I wanted to set for my marriage as far as communication, emotional support, and just overall, like, connection. It wasn't just about being married anymore. It was more so like my partner, I had a criteria now. I had a standard. Whereas before I had this ideology behind marriage, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. So it changed for the better. But I wasn't as free as I am now then. It still took some time for me to get to this point as far as sexually and just overall how I am today.
So let me back up a little bit. How is dating for you right now? Not like, obviously those are a part, like slides are a part of, you know, your life or whatever, but how is dating? Like, are you considering dating for long term? Be minus like that, not taking it away, but are those two different lanes for you? Or how is dating for you right now in 2020? How is your dating life set aside from the other
Sly life?
Oh no, sly life and dating life go one and the same. My slides don't disappear until I deem it necessary to let them go. Like, I'm not gonna drop my guaranteed dick for a maybe possible. In the sense that if I feel as if the bond could be there and that, you know, this is somebody I truly want to take serious, you know, there's been a 90-day trial because most men don't last 30 days nowadays. You know, the drop off and communication happens and you know, they think they found something better. So they go their separate way or, you know, whatever happens in between. I don't believe in dropping what I have going on immediately for a potential. Like, there has to be some sort of definite there. So dating for me right now is kind of blurred as far as the lines go. I just recently had this conversation with a guy who was trying to pursue me. And, you know, I told him up front, like, yes, I'm sleeping with people. Like, I'm single, but I have needs just like the next person. So I'm not dropping my guaranteed dick unless I know for a fact you're somebody I can take seriously. He didn't even last a week. So yeah, I'm still fucking.
Yeah. You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So even in that sense of dating right now, right? In the sense of dating, what are your how can I say, what is your interest? If you had to find a man that meets your interest and piques your interest, what would that be for you?
Well, I'm a spoken word artist. So if you're into the arts, that's great. But I really just want a person that I can talk to about anything. You know, I don't need anybody that's too uptight. So when it comes to meeting, I'm a really simple person to please in general. You have to be a great listener. You have to be able to hold an amazing conversation. You have to have a crazy sense of humor, and you kind of got to be a geek. Cause I'm definitely one of those women that's into the anime. I'm into the tattoos, the piercings. Like, I'm into other things. I'm not just stuck reading books all day, although I read. But you know, documentaries, crazy facts. Like, you just have to be who you are and be comfortable with who you are. But I want somebody who's interesting. Like, I don't want somebody I'm going to get bored with.
So if you had to build a husband, not like a sly, obviously it's all that goes with it too. But if you had to build a lifetime partner or husband, or, you know, long-term longevity, someone that you could consider a father for your son and a great man for you, what would be the characteristics? I can't talk today. Characteristics of that man. We'll start, like, what is your top? So we'll do in tiers. What is your top, you know, fact, and, you know, what is the next?
Mental, emotional stability. I want an emotional, stable man. I don't want a broken man. I don't want a fixer-upper. I don't want a project. So he has to be emotionally stable. He has to be level-headed. He has to be ambitious. He has to be organized. He has to be kind-hearted. He can be a little selfish. I would hate to say selfless, but you have to be a little selfish sometimes. So it's great if he's people-oriented, caring in that sense. I would just simply put it, I can name off a list of things, but my ideal partner would be somebody who can verbalize intellectually what they think, how they feel, and can be a great example of a good person, especially for my son, because you can be all of these great, you can look good, you can be tall, you can have all the money, that's cool or whatever. But my ideal partner would be someone I could build a bond with that's beyond a lifetime. However that's packaged is cool, but it has to be connected all the way through. He has to be very leveled in who he is, comfortable in who he is, strong and solid. And that's it. That's simple. I don't require much when it comes to a man. I have a standard, and my standard is you have to essentially be a good person, but you have to be able to be an example for others. You have to be inspiring, and you have to live a life that's indicative of leaving a legacy behind that's gonna span beyond your lifetime. So it, in a sense, otherworldly. My partner is gonna be otherworldly.
So do you have any thing that's a no-go? Like, I'm not dealing with that. You know, that's not like, obviously they have to be into the sexuality stuff that you are into. So someone that is 100% vanilla would not fly, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Even if he is, then he at least has to be open to trying to find out what he likes more than what he knows. He has to be open to other things.
To venturing out. So what are the other no-goes for you?
Non-negotiables.
Closed-mindedness. And I would say any form of disrespect, abuse is definitely a no-go. Beyond my past or whatever, I just can't deal with anyone who can't be respectful even when they're angry. So a no-go would be somebody who can't communicate thoroughly. And again, somebody who's closed-minded in every way.
So you are very transparent in all avenues. How do you feel about someone that is not transparent, or someone that does not disclose maybe that they have other like sexual partners or other people on the side? Because you tell them about yours, but what if they don't tell you, that you're not the only one, or that, they have a girlfriend or a wife on the, well, I guess not on the side, you would be the side if that's the case, but a wife on the side. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, I would like to think that I read people well enough to know better, but if I were to find out that a person wasn't as forthcoming with their relationship status or their intentions with others as I were, then that would be an end all. There's really nothing to discuss at that point. I would just simply cut it off where it is. There's no penis in the world important enough for me to deal with someone who can't be honest about what they have going on in their lives, because I have no reason to lie. I'm approaching the situation with a complete transparency, and you can't expect you from other people, but I would at least expect that level of respect, that you would be honest with me and just tell me like, hey, give me the choice, even though I may just be that woman that's like, okay, I'm cool with this. That's not my thing, but if you don't allow me the choice, then from there, I'll just cut it off.
So what if you're in a relationship and, you and your guy doing a great job, everything's going good, and he steps out and cheats on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Is that an end all be all for you?
No.
Why is it infidelity?
My first question would be, why? My first question would be, why did you feel the need to seek whatever it was outside of me? Because it may very much be something that I wasn't doing. I wouldn't say it was my fault, because cheating, there's really no need for people to cheat when you can just communicate or leave. But if he did step out of our union, our relationship, our exclusive understanding, my first question would be, what did she give you that you thought you were lacking? And we would go from there.
Okay. So I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, do you believe in relationships, or do you believe that there's no such thing as a relationship and you are learning that person up until you are married?
Well, I do believe in relationships of all kinds. I guess if we're just simply talking about dating relationships, yes, I believe in monogamous relationships. I do believe in those. As far as knowing you're single until you're married, I think that's an individualized view of dating. Because at the end of the day, you really don't have any rights to a person in any way, shape, or form legally outside of that contract. So I don't really box relationships as much as others. So I do believe that monogamy is a thing, just like polygamy. And whatever way a person decides to approach that is between them and the person that they're in that relationship with.
Okay. So the dreaded question that I'm sure you have gotten, I've gotten several times. Most people have. Why are you single? Which I hate that question, by the way. I'm sorry to ask it to you, but the people
No. It's fine. I'm single because I'm picky. I'm single because I don't want to settle. I'm single because I believe that my somebody is out there, and I'm not going to compromise on what I know I deserve and what I know is needed for me to thrive in my relationship. So I'm single because I simply want what I want, and until I have what I want, even with compromise, until I feel like I have what I want, I'm not going to be in a relationship.
So you say you're above, you're 30. Is that what you said?
Yes.
30 years old? Okay.
Yes.
So I am north of 30. But do you, once you hit 30, did you feel like people looked at you more of a certain way because you were single? Or do you feel like,
No.
Okay.
Because I've been me for a long time. Way before 30, I was who I am now. It has evolved up until this point, but no, I don't think people hold me to any standard other than the ones I've set for myself. So at 30, I think people are comfortable with accepting me for who I am, more so now than before.
And your family, obviously you're open, transparent. It is what it is. It's, with you, it seems like. And you said you were raised Baptist. How has your way of life fit in with your family? How are you viewed? I guess I should say.
I'm the oddball out. I'm the black sheep. I am the unique one, whatever way you like to name it. That's me and the family. I'm definitely uncensored, no bars hold, like I'm out there. So as far as my family, they're accepting, because they know Courtney is going to say what Courtney wants to say, how she wants to say it, and that is not going to change. I'm still very respectful of my elders, but there is an unsaid rule around my family that, don't say or ask Courtney anything if you're not prepared for whatever Courtney says after that. So my family's they've adjusted. They've adjusted well.
That's good. You and I, we have similarities. We're on the opposite ends of the spectrum, but I am.
Let me slide out of here. This is.
I am I won't say like the oddball, but I am the outspoken one, the extreme extrovert. Well, my aunt is too.
If you hit me with that hair one more time, we're gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna choke him with it. That's what I'm gonna do. And so like I get it. I 100% get it. I don't have to like.
Did you just say you know what?
What?
Did you just? I'm listening. Let me sit back.
I told her we are on the opposite ends of the spectrum,
but y'all are the same.
Yeah, we have a lot of the same similarities because my family is very conservative. Well, I won't say very.
You're conservative.
Not compared to them, though. Not compared to a lot of them. I was raised in church. I am a Christian too. But compared to like, how everybody else is, I'm more of the I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know. But more worldly. I'm not worldly, but I'm a little more worldly than they are. And so I understand, like, I have an open mind. I guess more open-minded. I'm more open-minded than the rest of them. And I am interested in a lot of things that, they probably will be like, what? Or
things like what?
Well, not. It's not my show. It's her show.
y'all listen. Y'all two are having a connection right here. I guess you guys are on different sides of the spectrum, but you guys are here. Right. So, what things are you into that your family don't?
Inquiring minds want to know.
This is her show.
Hey.
This is her.
Okay. Well, Court, you asked the question. Court.
No.
So, what are some things you would be into that would be considered worldly compared to?
But anyway, so what I was getting at is I understand.
We don't know our fans don't know and understand because you're not telling them what you understand.
Because you won't be quiet.
You won't give us details. She asked you the question.
We want deep. We want deep.
I'm not giving details. I understand where you are coming from. We're on two opposite ends of the spectrum, but I have an open mind enough to be like, okay, like I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because some people that have closed minds are like no, like I don't even want to, sit here and listen to that. I don't want to, So that's what I mean as far as that. But so I get it. I understand.
I see you, Court. Make that face right there, Court. Make that face. I know. So my thing is, so like you said, a lot of things that you then just to double back, like the slide comment, the way your sexuality is, a lot of individuals who don't know you, or a lot of individuals who are vanilla, may look at you with the vanilla, right?
Say it with me, vanilla.
Vanilla. may shun the shoulder, shun the eye towards you, because of your thoughts, your process, your beliefs. And what would you say to them?
Have fun being boring. Everything is not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. Everything isn't for everybody. But if you think for 1 minute that you are living to your highest sexual potential, doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're lying to yourself. Seek therapy. It's a problem. People, I have had these conversations with people who don't think like me, who aren't into the things that I'm into. I've been called sick. I have been called crazy. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Yet when I present the question, if your significant other, if your man or your woman asks you to do something that you are now calling me sick for, or saying that I'm crazy for trying, would you consider it? And a lot of the times I'm met with silence, because they really have to think about it. If your man asks you to do anal today, would you tell him no? Or if he asked you 3 times and you already told him no, and he asked you 3 times, are you thinking about it? Are you considering it? Has it been a thought like, oh man, maybe if I got had a couple of glasses of wine and I relaxed a little bit, would I be open to this? I'm not that sick. I'm not that crazy. I have just gone to the extent of doing it. I've tried it. And when I tell you missing out on that orgasm, I've already had it. So you can't really call me crazy or look at me any type of way when I've had that. I know what that feels like. I know what that excitement is. I know what that release feels like. You still guessing. So, I mean, it happens. Some people, you just not gonna get through to some people. Like I said, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm not here to make anybody try anything that they don't want to do. What I will say is, if you haven't tried it twice, don't talk to me. Because you can try, how many times have you tried a vegetable you didn't like, or a meat that you didn't like, and then you tried it a second way, it was cooked different, and now you like it. You can't tell me about something you haven't tried.
So is your view on dating or a long-term relationship, is it all based on sex?
No. A lot of the times it's more mental than anything. I get bored very easily before sex even happens, because I'm not one of those women where you're just, oh, well, she's into everything, so I'm just going to sleep with her. Absolutely not. There's still a standard that has to be met before you reach the vagina. So if you can't stimulate me mentally, if we can't sit down and we can't vibe and listen to music and have a conversation about aliens or some other shit like that, then 9 times out of 10, we're not going to make it far, because I'm going to get bored with you and you're going to get thrown to the wayside. I'm going to be disinterested.
So my question is, how do you, so we had a podcast and we talked about love, being in love, and lusting someone, and how they all differ. They all differentiate. How do you define those 3? How do you define love, being in love, or lusting after someone?
Ooh. Let's start with lust. I would say lust is the ground level. I would say think about it like the heavens. if I had to put it into some sort of analogy, I guess. Ground level would be earth. That would be lust. What you see is what you get. It's very bland. There's nothing crazy about it. It's physical. It's for the right now. Then you have outer space. People have touched outer space. That's love. People have touched outer space. It's vast. It's ever changing. It could be intriguing. It's fun. It's constant. It's moving. And then you have being in love, which is the heavens you have yet to reach. I feel like when you feel that way, when you feel like you've gotten to a place that you've never been before, that's when you're in love. When somebody can give you something you've never experienced, something you've never tasted, something you've never felt, a different mindset, a different outlook, that it weighs a little heavier. And it puts you in a different place mentally and emotionally. When you are generally completely selfless, and that person is a part of your every consideration, that would be being in love. Love is you can love a multitude of people. You can love your family, you can love your friends, you can love your mate. But lust is really common. It's everywhere. It's all the time. You can give a little bit here, you can give a little bit there, and it is what it is.
So have you ever reached that heaven? Have you ever feel like you reached that heaven before? Or have you
Hell
always
no.
been stuck, or you had always been stuck in outer space? Have you been in
I'm
outer
always in outer space. I'm always in outer space trying to get the motherfucker on the earth to come jump up here with me. No, I feel like when I do reach the heavens, then that'll be the day. But no, I feel like so far I've reached outer space with that. I feel like outer space it's been comfortable. A lot of people are comfortable in outer space because, it's feasible, it's tangible, it's right there. I don't think that I've reached the epitome of love, which would be like the end all for me. Like I said, a bond, being in love for me would be meaning that through this life and the next, that is going to be something that will flourish beyond today, beyond this lifetime, beyond the breath in our lungs currently. Like, it's just going to be out of this world, out of this universe.
Do you feel like two people have to be open for it to happen at the same time, or do you feel like it just happens?
No, I feel like it just happens when it happens. Think about it as spontaneous combustion. It's just gonna happen. You can't time it. You can't put a time frame on it. You can't put a date. You can't put it's just gonna be what it is. And a lot of the times, I would think that in every situation you just give in to it, but a lot of times people run from it because they're scared of it. They don't want to feel that open or that vulnerable with the person, and therefore they restrict. They close themselves off to it, and it just doesn't happen for them. But it happens. It's gonna happen, and the best thing you can do is not fight it. So,
I agree.
Okay, so now I got a couple questions for you. Okay, my good friend, describe your perfect first date. If this could be your perfect first date, what would it look like? What would it entail? What would make it perfect?
Ooh, I hate the word perfect, but I'm gonna try.
I know you hate perfect. Okay. Describe a good first date. Okay.
Like better than good, like the best first date that you've ever had.
Oh, okay. Cooking together, listening to lo-fi, and us just talking, like just good, uncensored conversation. Like, we don't need to sit at a dinner table, at a restaurant, or anything. Just you and me, face to face, raw, uncensored, putting it all out on the table, like, and doing something that requires us both to interact with one another, like we're helping one another. So when you cook together, you know, you need that. It's a partnership. So if I'm seasoning the meat, you heating the pan, like I think that would be the perfect date for me, simply because I get to see you in some form of a comfort zone, outside of other distractions. It's just us. Or a picnic. A picnic can do the same thing, but I think it would be more intimate if we cook for one another.
So what about those people? Because we have a lot of people that say, especially in our lives, that my first date, I'm not going to his house, she's not going to my house, and we're going to go meet somewhere, and that's going to be our first date. I mean, because like I said, me and you, you know, we're friends, so we have these conversations and things of that nature, and some of our ideas are the same when we think about dates. Like, why I got to go out and spend this money for? Why can't we cook and things of that nature? Right. And we get the side eye. Because it's like in society, right, it's almost like taboo to talk about sex and taboo to say the whole Netflix and chill and everything of that nature. Or that
Let's Netflix and chill.
Right. And that communication, you know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about somebody telling you, like, oh, backlash, you're like, oh, I don't know you that well to bring you to my house or go to your house? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
My first response would be, well, people know people for 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 year and still don't know the person that they with. So inviting somebody and or going to somebody's home to cook a meal wouldn't be all that different. As far as, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your comfort level. It's pretty much what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what you should do or what you shouldn't do. But what I will say, you can know a person for 3 months and the person still switch up on you. If he's a murderer, he's not going to be a murderer tonight and not be a murderer 3 months from now. He going to kill you regardless. So if you want to take the risk, go for it.
I've never, time out. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's why you my homie, Courtney. Keep it real.
Listen, I'm just saying.
I'm not letting nobody come to my house day one, but that analogy that you just said was hilarious and true. They probably won't murder you day one. You know, they might murder you 3 months down the line when somebody like me is maybe more comfortable, but that was true. But they can't come to my house day one. And
that's okay. But one of the sweetest guys that has ever tried to court me, he came to my house day one. He knocked on my door. He walked me to his car. He opened my car door for me. He was one of the people who wanted me on the inside of the sidewalk. He paid for the meal at the dinner. And he still wasn't shit. So my thing is,
this is true.
You can do all of that. You can wait 90 days, whatever rule you have set in place. Now I'm not saying go out here and be reckless. That's not what I'm promoting. What I am saying is the risk is the same no matter how much time passes. So if you have somebody that you're interested in, because I truly do not believe in a man spending any amount of money. If possible, we don't have to spend no money on the first encounter. And I've gotten backlash from friends and family for that for a minute now.
Preach,
Court.
Preach, Court.
You don't have to spend a dime on me on the because I don't even. First of all, I don't want to sit across the dinner table from you at anybody's restaurant and be stuck looking at your ass for an hour or two, and I'm not interested in you at the end of the night. I'm gonna pay for my meal and I'm gonna leave. I'll meet you at the restaurant. I'm driving home. We ain't got a hug, kiss, or nothing. Goodbye. Like, I don't even want to do that. I would prefer we go to the canal and we walk for hours and talk for hours for free. Versus me sitting at like, let's get to that point. Let me see if I want you to spend money on me. Cause it's not that deep. Like I said, it's great if a man is financially stable and can provide you material things. But can you keep me interested with your mouth that's not touching my body? Can you intrigue me with your words? Because if not, this is for what? I don't want no parts.
100%
So
with that part.
I would prefer a more, hell, even if that means that you meet at the park and sit on a bench and feed the pigeons or the ducks on your first date. I would prefer that. And then, if we decide that this is going to work for us and, next date we want to cook for each other, we want to go do dinner, then we can do that. Because now I know you're somebody I can actually talk to, I can have a good time with. We're going to laugh. We're going to, we're going to be cool. Like, it's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. But if I meet you and we done walked around the canal for an hour and all you did was ask me how my day was and we just walking in silence, then of course I don't want you to take me to dinner. So it's what, at the end of the day, people gonna do what they want to do. Some people want a man to spend at least $100 on them for a date. Great, cool. Not me. Cool.
I agree with that. I think that, I'm not like a baller, but I can finance myself. And so for me, like, you showing your love and appreciation for me is like doing things for me, not necessarily like spending money on me, because I can spend money on myself. I can do whatever I want to do, just about, within limits, you know what I'm saying? But so I agree with that. I am never comfortable asking anybody for financial anything anyway. And I would prefer someone get creative, because I'm a creative. Get creative and think outside of the box.
Yes.
Especially for a first date or, whatever. Don't get me wrong. I like the nice, fancier dates too. But as far as like,
I'm touching your braids.
but as far as like, I keep myself decently. So I don't need you to keep me. I need you to entertain me with your mind,
Hold on, can I say
verbally.
something real fast? I thought this was her interview. You ain't want to answer,
No,
but
but
wait,
I'm asking.
you ain't want to. But wait though, you ain't want to answer the last question.
But
We going into detail right now, ain't we, Court?
But we're not talking. You're not
Right,
talking.
Court. Okay, I want to make sure. Go
Bring
ahead.
out the frame.
Do you think- I'm out the frame again. Go ahead. I'm out the
Go
frame.
ahead.
So what I said all of that for is I 100% like that's what I'm saying. Like, we have a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand exactly where you are coming from. We are opposite, but we're the same in a lot of areas. Just like our presentation and stuff is, different, packaged different and stuff. But so I understand 100% where you are coming from with that. You don't have to spend on me. I can maintain myself. But I also do believe where a man's treasure is where his heart is. And so a lot of men, like, I know Malik and I have had a conversation before, and he spoke it on the live, that if he's into you, then he's going to spend his money on you. If he don't, deal with you in that manner, he's not going to spend money on you. And that's how a lot of men think. So I think that once you get to that point of when a man starts spending money on you is when they feel like they are into you. So I think that that's in a lot of cases why a woman would want a man's money, obviously for, their own personal gain too. But so that is maybe one reason why, but I understand exactly where you're coming from, especially on a first date. Like, get creative. You don't have to go out and spend $100, $200. Like, get creative. That means more to people like us than it would for someone, that's looking for some kind of, I'm serious, for some kind of financial gain. And that's why I say that a lot of people don't know me very well. And you may get that too. I don't know, but yeah, because that's true. Like, that's true. Get creative. Do other things for me. I don't need you to spend buku money on me. I can finance myself.
Absolutely.
So,
and what I tell people is, what I like to ask just off bat, especially with men, because a lot of them don't know the answer to the question is, what is your love language?
Mm-hmm.
You'll be amazed at how many people do not know what their love language is. My love language is not gifts. My love language is not gifts in any sense. Gifts are nice. But what I found is that a lot of men automatically go to gifts. They go to watches, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, coach purses, wallets, and things.
Very
shoes.
vanilla. Vanilla.
Say it with me. Vanilla. No.
Vanilla.
No. Vanilla is only for sexual.
I'm just messing
reference.
with you.
But you know, I just recently had a guy who wanted to put food in my fridge and buy me shoes, and that's nice. Thank you. I'm appreciative. Gratitude. But that's not my love language. My love language is words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time. Can I see you when you busy? You gonna FaceTime me, you texting me and letting me know I'm on your mind. That's what I care about. Okay, I don't care nothing about what you can buy me, because I could, if I wanted shoes, I can buy them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I always ask what a person's love language, and a lot of people don't know what they need or what they like because they've never been asked, so they never thought about it. Most guys don't know that they need words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Most guys don't know that their love language is acts of service. They don't know that that massage means more to them than what they lead on. They don't know that that foot rub or that you know, whatever is a little more to them than what they like to lead on. They don't know that. So it's always nice to try to figure it out before you try to do something for somebody. Because there just may not be the thing that speaks to that person. So if you looking to shower me with gifts, that's cool. But you could have kept your money, because I don't care about that. If I wanted gifts, I could have bought myself a watch. If I wanted gifts, I could have bought myself diamond earrings. If I wanted gifts, I could have put myself in a new car. I want the quality time. I want to cuddle with the fan on because I get hot. But I'm just saying.
So that's your best date idea for you. What's a terrible date? What's a date that you didn't have in the past, or for you that would be like a no-go, never talk to you again, block as soon as you get
Let me go into the vault. Let me go into the bad date vault. I've actually been on it. I've been on let me think. I've been on some pretty I've been on a date. I wouldn't say it was my worst, but I've been on a date where I've ended up having to pay for the date because the guy's 3 different cars declined.
He knew that before he left.
No, he didn't know. He might not have known.
He seemed shocked.
He was shocked.
I've also been on a date where a guy got arrested. We got pulled over.
Are you serious?
And he got arrested and taken to jail. His car got towed.
That's crazy.
I've been on a date where a guy thought I wanted him way more. I don't know what led him to believe I wanted him like that, but I've been on a date where a guy came on to me real hard and I had to leave. You know, I've been on some pretty bad ones, but I wouldn't say anyone is like the worst. They're all pretty bad. No one is above the other.
So you got any more questions?
So how do you date? Do you date online? Do you date the traditional way and a man approaches you? Are you comfortable with approaching a guy to date and you putting forth the effort and like introducing yourself and, you know, the whole bit?
All of the above.
Okay.
I date online. I've had I'm really a homebody, so it's really hard for me to get out. Like I don't club or anything like that. So You know, unless my man unless a guy meet me at the grocery store, it's really gonna be hard to pick me up outside. But I've shot my shot in the inbox, but I've dropped a DM or two in my time, and I've gotten the digits. So I'm really all around a well-rounded dater. I do it all. A traditional, online. I'll slide in a DM. Somebody will slide in my DM. I'm not picky. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So this is my last questions for you, Court. Okay. For a single man that sees this and is interested in Courtney, what is one last thing you have to tell him? And what is one last thing you would like to let the viewers know? I got two questions. That's one. Okay. But I got one more question.
Okay. So for a guy who wants to see this.
To be your slide.
To be my slide.
And then he wants to move up into that next position.
Come correct or not at all. Just
what's correct? What's correct?
Correct is honest and open. Mm-hmm. Always honest and open. Transparency is the best policy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna hold back. I don't want you to hold back. I don't want you to think that anything you'll say or will offend me. I'm not easily offended at all. So you know, just come with the most open part of yourself and be you. You know, people try to hide parts of themselves because they think it's not desirable. I want all the quirky parts. I want to see all of that. Because I like to go into situations knowing what I'm getting involved in. And I need to know those parts of you. So if a guy's looking at this and wants to get to know me, then he needs to come as he is, wherever that is. And I'm sorry, what was the other part?
We'll get to it. I'm gonna flip the question and then we get to it. So, to get to know, what do you got going on right now? I know me and you talk, but you got a lot of things going on now. You into poetry. Tell them about you. It's all about you right now. Tell us about Miss Courtney.
Well,
Miss
right
Court
now,
is what I call her. Court.
Right now, yeah, I'm working on. I'm always writing. So spoken word poetry is my love. It's my first love. So I'm always writing. I'm always trying to be as creative as possible. I'm reading up on astrology right now. So, poetry for sure. If you want to be a poem, go on ahead and hit me up because I'll write about you. But I'm actually trying to start a virtual open mic right now with COVID-19 going on. So I'm trying to put out some positive vibes. I'm trying to get people to showcase their talents and, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I know that was a big thing for me with being a poet and performing. I've been writing since I was 13. So standing up in a crowd of people, I don't care if there's 2 people in the room. My stage fright is crazy. I'm mad uncomfortable being in the spotlight. So I'm trying to create a space where people can showcase their talents and just, put themselves out there and be great in whatever their talents are. And that's pretty much it for me. I don't do too much.
So if you can leave our viewers with one last thing or one last word about Courtney that can have a legacy about them. So the overview of who Courtney is, was one statement that you can say that pretty much summarize everything we talked about.
I am nothing you have ever experienced. I am a vibe, and you will always walk away feeling more love than you came in with.
Thank you, Courtney. We're gonna talk a little later. Appreciate you coming on the podcast. All right. Thank you. All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
All right, Court.
Bye.
So that was the Battle of the Sexes podcast, everybody. We had the lovely Miss Courtney over there How did you feel about the conversation? You two, like, you guys vibed a lot,
yeah,
man.
I see a lot of similarities there, not in that aspect, but like how I am a lot more. You are sitting on my brace.
You shouldn't be moving your hair all the time. They hit me about 5 times with it during the whole process.
A lot of similarities, just like with the open mind. I look very conservative and traditional in a sense, but on the inside, I'm a little more outgoing than I lead on sometimes. So I have an extreme open mind, like extreme open mind. I can see other views, even with my Christianity, because I am a Christian. I can see other views of things, and I try not to judge so much. So, you know, I can see, and I am also comfortable with sitting and talking with just about anybody. So, you know, a lot of, I hate to put my people down, but a lot of Christians, you know, don't feel comfortable sitting, you know, and talking about certain things and sex and stuff like that. So I'm one of those. That's why I say, like, my family is very taboo on talking about sex and talking about different things. I'm one of those people that, you know, I can talk about just about anything and understand other people's minds and, you know, things like that nature. So that's why I say that she and I have a lot of similarities, because I'm comfortable with talking about different things and sitting and listening to different things. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't take me aback. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good time and good conversation. Like I said, Court is very very open and honest about everything that goes on. She's very transparent.
I'm transparent too, in a sense, but not on that spectrum. Not on that spectrum. I'm transparent as like my life.
Can I finish talking?
Sorry.
Man. No, go ahead.
You can talk.
Go ahead. You're very transparent. Go ahead.
You can talk.
I said I was going to sit down. I did a good job sitting back and letting these two women have a conversation.
And the thing of it is I did not know her. I don't know her. That's Malik's friend. So for me to like sit and, like I said, well, I can talk to anybody, really. I can talk to any and everybody and have like a good conversation. Don't do me. That's just me though. That's me. I can talk to anybody and, you know, whatever. But it was a good conversation. I didn't know her. We are on the total opposite ends, but have some similarities, and that's probably, you know, why we were able to come together. I'm transparent with my life, not my sexual life, but not as transparent as she is.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a good time, good conversation, man. We enjoyed. I got a chance to sit back and just watch a little bit. Had to put my little questions in and out every now and then, but I got a chance to sit back and just vibe. You know, she took over, did a great job having the conversation, man. And this is our single series. So we started out with our married series. We interviewed a lot of foreign married couples, trying to get an understanding on that love that they had. And I always say we're bringing that love back. So having them reminisce about those stories that they never thought about or they forgot to speak about and things of that nature. So now we're in our single series. So our single series, we're doing single men and women. Why are you single? Trying to learn a little bit more about you. And it's a vibe. Like we say, everything we do is a vibe session. Is you know, very conversational based. We converse with our guests. Like I said, it's all about having a good time, man, and having a good understanding that there are good people out there who think extremely different from how you think.
And we want a broad spectrum. We don't just want one side of the spectrum. We want a broad spectrum and a mix, a good mix, so we can get, you know, different variety of why people think the way they think.
Yeah.
So
at the close of the show, you know what it is. It's Malik DFG Perry. I'm here with the lovely
Brittany Jeremy.
Yeah, and you can follow us on our social media platform, man. On Facebook, Battle of the Sexes podcast. Our Friday Night Lives has been doing phenomenal. Like I said, Britt did a great job of organizing the Friday Night Lives. And each week it's going up and up and up. Like I said in the beginning, we only plan on doing 1 hour. Last show was 2.5, 2.5 hours. Just because all good vibes, man, a good conversation. If you guys want to hit us up on our Gmail, it's Battle of the Sexes podcast 2, the number 2 at gmail.com. If you guys want to give us any questions or show ideas, comments and things of that nature. Or we want to be a part of the fun, man. We have no problem zooming people in and having a nice conversation. You can also follow us on our YouTube page, Battle of the Sexes Podcast, when we drop our content every Monday at 7:30. And that's it, man. Anything you want to say to the viewers?
That y'all see Malik tried to match my fly today.
I just threw on the
He
shirt.
tried to match my fly today.
I just threw on the shirt because she came in here looking all dialed up, and I had on a t-shirt and a basketball shirt.
What you call
But anyway,
down
Battle of the Sexes Podcast, single series. First one, Miss Courtney, man. Make sure, I hope you guys love it. Check it out and comment on it. Peace.
I'ma get in there like I'm supposed to. Gotta do it like I'm supposed to.